going to do an insight video today. The last few days, I've definitely been getting a lot of stuff around like illumination, and this relates to like I had like Lord Cthulhu and I had like Lord Lanto ascended masters. Lord Lanto is very much around like illumination and source energy and source light. And this being used to walk on the planet and they'd say like he illuminated his heart, so he was like in like unity and connection, in oneness, um, with sort of like with the spirit realms, spiritual realms of light, the spiritual realms and realities. And this time's very much around that. It's about sort of alignment. It's about illumination. And illumination is also around ascension. And ascension is this process of oneness. And I think when it comes to ascension, this is really a really important sort of aspect of spiritual evolution. I was looking at sort of like just picking a couple of cards today, and Sandalphon come up with like spiritual evolution, and that's very much around sort of alignment. But it's also about opening. Ascension is this process of opening up, and it's sort of like it's opening up to your light frequency and your light vibration. And this is what's very much needed at the moment. It's like a lot of us, sort of like the awakening of the process of a spiritual evolution, a spiritual sort of growth and development on the planet. Is also this concept again of oneness, which is ascension is about, which is about like the non-separate aspect of the spirit, which is that we're all beings and there is no separation. The issue is like when we come down here and we incarnate, the first thing we do is we go into a dormant state, and we sort of like we sort of like we embody, and we start to sort of like connect to the physical world and the physical reality. And then most of the spiritual journey as we go through the whole of our evolution as we start to awaken and ascend again, is we're sort of like we're remembering, and we're coming back into this illumination, this light, this energy. And this is what this time's about. Illumination to me is this gold energy. It's this golden sort of like vibration and frequency, which also connects to source. So what's needed at the moment is sort of like to start to really sort of like harness our light, harness our energy, harness our sort of vibration, and integrate it and use it within our lives. A lot of the practice, like I keep talking about at the moment, is like a lot of it's around like anchoring this light energy. But this anchor of this light energy also connects to sort of like the sixth dimension. And the sixth dimension is sort of like, when I explain it, is like this is like we go like through like the fifth dimension, which is like the integration of like heaven on earth, which is the starting of the opening of like the gateways, and the opening of our channel back to the light, back to the source of source energy and source light, which is the sixth dimension, which is where these light frequencies and light energies sort of like exist. But it's also where like the masters, the ascended masters, and the universal teachers, and also the archangels are all sort of like existing in this sixth dimensional frequency, in this sixth dimensional reality, which is what's coming down to the planet now. And this time is very much around that. It's very much around us starting to open up again to those light frequencies. I've been talking about this a lot lately, but I think it's really important that we start to really sort of see that we're source beings with source light and energy, and we need to start to open up again to see that there's no separation. Because when we become sort of like attached to separation, we get attached again to the physical world and the frequencies of physical reality. But it's also the understanding that all reality is made up of source creation, which is everything is an energetic vibration. Everything is light and energy. And so every physical object that exists in the external world, as with us, we're all sort of part of that source creation, that source vibration, and we're all light and energy. So everything is that. And the key is sort of like when we relate to like the sixth dimensional reality, we start to see that source is this creative sort of vibration that's in everything. And when we start to realize that, we can start to use our energy in a way that we start to shift and change our own reality. And when we start to do that, we open up our channel, and we open up our channel to start to again to align with this sixth dimensional frequency, where we start to open up again the energy sort of like channels for us to start to again connect to the ascended masters and also the archangels. Obviously, the archangels and the ascended masters I'm talking about here because I feel these energies, these vibrations, these frequencies work with me. However, we've got a lot of there's a lot of collective, there's a lot of different sort of like frequencies within the infinite realms of energy and light that are in the what we call source, which is this spiritual reality. Um, we've also got Almora, which the, is seen as like this blue ray, but is also like an ascended master. And Almorias are very much around like the will of God. But I see the will of God as like, again, connects directly to Saint Germain, and it connects to the vibration of transmutation and transformation. And what's meant by that is like transformation is this process of we start to open up again, and um, we start to open up again to this ascension of this like oneness vibration, but we start to open up to these light frequencies, these light vibrations that are in the sixth dimension, but also within us. So we start to awaken to that. We start to activate those light frequencies, and this is what's going on. This is what these universal teachers are doing at the moment. They're sort of bringing these and anchoring in this light again, this energy into the planet and into each and every one of us and activating it. And again, this connects to what like Atlantis and Lemuria, when in this time when it was seen like it was spiritually highly evolved, it was around sort of the awareness that this dimension of light and these light frequencies or these light energies or these light realities, which are where spirit lives, that are not embodied, and this is in this time we were able to still sort of like take our bodies and take our frequencies to vibrations of where we were able to again once again connect. And this very much connects to when you talk about like heaven on earth, you talk about the reality of heaven is this, to me heaven is this infinite source of spiritual realms and realities, and it's about us opening up again so that we can start to walk as beings of light again. And this is what the illumination is about. This is what the illumination is around with Lord Lanto and Lord Kuthumi, who was talking about like illumination, and like Lord Cthulhu was talking about like the laws of light as well, and this is all connected to the universal laws. But it's all about vibrations. Everything is about vibrations. Everything is about frequencies, about light frequencies, and each and every one of us at the moment are in this process where we're going through these shifts. These shifts where our bodies are now becoming aligned again with this six-dimensional reality, which is very much around source code, source energy, and source vibration. And it's about creation, and creation is really important again because I'll go back to like Saint Germain where we talk about transformation and transmutation. Transmutation is going from one state of being to the next, so that's shifting our consciousness and shifting our understanding, but also shifting our vibration, shifting our frequency, and this is done by sort of like living in a way, and the universal sort of like the source energy is unconditional. So in that sense, when we open up to these vibrations where we live in a more unconditional way, we start to open up more to this source energy, but we also connect more to these archangels. Archangels and the masters are very much around sort of like here for the planet, and they know everything is one. Again, the universal law of oneness is so essential to the ascension, because the ascension is oneness, knowing that there's no separation. But it also knows that in that sense, everything should be in harmony. Everything should be in connection. Everything should be existing and vibrating. In one frequency, in one reality. There isn't supposed to be like a physical reality, or like even when you talk about heaven on earth, they're not separate. That the earth plane and the earth frequency is part of the oneness vibration. It's also part of the infinite realms of light and the infinite sort of frequencies of different realities. And this is what this time's about, and this is what source energy is about, and this is what creation's about. It's coming back to that. It's coming back to that oneness vibration, and each and every one of us needs to walk, and be conscious that we are this light vibration, and we're not disconnected. We're not separate. So again, Saint Germain with this transmutation and this transformation, which is different states of being. Again, this connects to our Moira and the divine intelligence and the divine understanding that you know that this design or this source energy, at any time we can shift and change our reality. We're not powerless. Again, this is about stepping into power. This is about stepping into our energy and our frequency. And again, this is where illumination comes in. And this is why I think illumination is really important, because it's about recognizing that light, that energy, that you know within each and every one of us, and all we have to do is remain in that. Not become attached to anything. Don't become attached to the physical world, the reality, the material world. And I mean, there's so much going on in the press and the world. You know, every time you stick your phone on and you go into like Google News, there's loads of things talking about, you know, saving money and all of this. But again, this connects to the universal law of correspondence, which is around your inner reality creates your creates your external reality. So again, it's about when we're connected into this source energy and this six dimensional sort of reality of light and energy, that there's no separateness. We also know that we can then sort of just sit in our own light and our own light vibration, and what we feel inside and what we create, and when we sort of come into that oneness and that vibration, and that will then sort of project in it and create our external reality. So that again, it's showing this universal law of oneness is in everything. It's again showing there's no separation in everything. So like the inner is the outer world, and they're in perfect harmony. Everything's about harmony. Everything's about balance. Everything's about peace at the moment. And this is why there's a lot of sort of I feel like there's a strong connection to the angels at the moment, because the archangels are very much around peace, balance, and harmony. You've got like I said, the archangel Raziel, who's about universal truths, but universal wisdom, universal knowledge. So you can call upon the angels as you can call upon the ascended masters, um, that are around us at the moment, are very much connecting to us. Also, you got Serapis Bey, who's around this sort of like, again, it is around ascension. It's about coming back into oneness. It's about coming into light and energy. But if you look at like symbolically, with sort of Serapis Bey, he's always depicted as it having this sort of like sun, sort of like symbolic of having the sun, which is the source energy, which is the golden energy. So the sun is symbolic of the source energy. But also you see pyramids, like pyramids, that he's always stood by pyramids. And pyramids again are triangles, and to me triangles act as portals or gateways, and they open you up to like these new frequencies and new energies, but they also act as like a portal into the spiritual realities and realms, where you can start to like connect again into this these energies back into this six-dimensional reality, that everything is one, nothing is separate. You've also got Serapis Bey, who wears white. He's always depicted as like white colour, like a white robe that he wears. And again, that's very symbolic. That's very symbolic of like higher awareness, clarity, insight, understanding, purity, and it's bringing this pure vibration. So when you start looking at these kind of things, but it's also about ascension. It's coming back to that oneness vibration again, and this is what this time's about. So for each and every one of us, it's about sort of like looking at our light and our energy and seeing this as a creative vibration and frequency in our life, and starting to really be more conscious of how we can use that light, how we can use that energy. One, to bring us back to source energy, to bring us back into alignment with that six-dimensional reality where there's nothing separate, and we have like infinite light, infinite energy, and access to that infinite light and infinite energy. We're not powerless. This is the thing. And when I start talking about like power, I'm talking about stepping into harmony. I'm talking about using our will, our consciousness in an unconditional way, where we're going back to what our nature is. Our nature is that we are source beings, or source creation, and source is unconditional. It doesn't look at anything as being separate, but it also doesn't look at anything as being good or bad in that sense. And everything at the moment, I had something come through the other day, and I was sitting there, and I was just like, I was sitting there in my vibration, and I was running on the treadmill, and there was two aspects. So everything's like a contrast, and it was saying to me, like, although you're like myself is in my own infinite being, I'm my greatest teacher, I'm also my greatest critic. And I think that's a really symbolic sort of contrast, to sort of like our spiritual journey. It's starting to look at things that don't serve us, things that don't really sort of like resonate with our energy and our light, and look at the, being unconditional means being unconditional to yourself, but it also means being unconditional to all beings, and also seeing that all beings are part of one vibration and we're all light. We're, we're all part of the same one vibration. Sorry about that. We're all part of the same one vibration. My phone was just going off there. We're all part of the same one vibration. We're all part of the same sort of vibration and frequency. We're all a family of light. We're all born from the light. We all go back to the light. There is no separation. And this is what I feel the masters are trying to say. They're trying to say that we're all light frequency. We're light beings, and that will never change. And like I say, with transmutation, it is just literally going from one state of being to the next. So when we go into from this world to the next, we just literally just shift from one frequency to the next, and then in a different sort of light reality again. We're sort of like we've just shifted into that, and as we shift into that, and that's a different state of being. So we are light and energy, and this is what the masters are saying. There's no separation. So every day it's about trying to come back into that light, do whatever practice it brings you back into an unconditional way, but also seeing that we're all part of each other and we're part of everything, and everything is part of us. So that again, it's that non-separation. It's the biggest thing. I feel like the masters are trying to tell us, and the angels. So also there's no distance, there's no time, there's only the present moment. So in that sense we can access, and we've always got access to the masters and the angels and those spiritual realms. We've got access to our infinite selves, our higher selves, at any time, at any moment. So when you start looking at it like that, we're always secure. We've always got security because we're always connected. We're never disconnected. We're only disconnected when we start to separate ourselves. So it's about keeping that vibration, keeping that sense of oneness, and seeing that we're all interconnected. We're all part of the same being, the same vibration. We're all source energy, and in each and every one of us are part of that light and that energy. And it's about going out into our lives and our work, the world, and seeing each other like that. Like the terminology namaste talks about, like when you say namaste, it's like I see the divine being in you. Well, that's about seeing the light, the energy in you, but it's also seeing the source energy. That source energy is everywhere, and we're all part of that, and we're all sort of connected to that. So none of us are separate, and we're all part of the same whole infinite sort of like family. And this is the same with the masters, and this is the same with the archangels. They see us like that, and this is why this time is really important, that we start to ascend back to oneness, and back to ascend back to being in connection with our infinite beings, but also our higher selves, because our higher selves still live and are connected to that sort of like that source energy, and that concept and that consciousness, that nothing is separate. So in that way, at any time you can shift and change your will, and at any time you can come back into harmony, and at any time you can come back into balance, and at any time you have that access to that light, that energy that is needed to shift and change whatever challenges, whatever things are coming up in your life. You can shift and change that, because you can shift and change and transform from from one state of being to the next. And again, this connects to Saint Germain. So that's the insight for today.